Okay. Hello, everyone. I've just started the recording and I will share the screen with the agenda. You can see here. Okay. It's here. Okay. Oh, and Damian disappeared and he's the timer. Well, I will open the timing sheet and I will time the beginning so we don't have to. Damian is back. Damian, don't forget you're the timer. So
Yes.
Good. When you're ready, give a sign to Michal so he can start. I'm sharing the screen. There is agenda. Michal, when you don't need it, then later on, then tell me. The word is yours, gentlemen.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another meeting of the Onlinepreneur Toastmasters. We are an international community dedicated to helping its members to master the communication, leadership, and entrepreneurship skills by giving them a training platform and feedback to their performance. In today's meeting, as you can see on the agenda that is shared on your screens, we will have two speeches. One of them will be done by me, another by Tereza. Then we will have evaluators for the speeches. First evaluator will be Lenka and the second one will be Janka Surovčíková. And as usually, there will be some other roles at the meeting. General evaluator will be in today's meeting Tereza Niederlandová. The timer will be Damian Durčák, and the grammarian Anna Jurišová. And for one of the more interesting roles and one of the more hated roles by our members, the counter by Soňa Michníková. So, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. I'm under a little bit of stress. So, without further ado, let's start with the opening question. Today's opening question for you, my fellow Toastmasters, I'm going to ask you, what is something you are looking forward the most this month? And I will go last because I don't want to steal someone's ideas. So, ladies first. Sonia, could you please share first what is something you are the most excited about in September?
Well, I wish that it's still 1st September, because that would mean that it's still the beginning of the month and I have still month when I won't go to the work. That will be the most exciting thing. But bearing in mind that it's already 17th, I'm not sure how we're gonna do it. But I'm still in a hope that somehow I'll wake up and it's 1st. So not working is my idea of having a good fun any day.
So instead of looking at the remaining time like I have only this much left, you are looking forward, I have so many days left to enjoy.
Yeah, I try to get myself into this mood. Yes.
Great. What about Teresa? What are you looking forward the most in the September or the rest of the September?
I think it's the school itself because, you know, the past few months I was just at home because of Corona time, and now I'm finally back at school, and I must say I really love it because I'm in my senior year, so my schedule is pretty good. So yeah, that's it. I'm really looking forward for some biology and chemistry.
So you're looking forward new knowledge that you're going to acquire.
Yeah, and the environment of school, because I love my school really.
That's nice to hear. What about you, Lenka? What are you looking forward the most in the rest of the September that we have left?
Well, it will be the end of the 2nd month of my probation period, and I hope that
I will successfully survive this month as well. And I'm looking forward to our company team building activity. Next week we are going to Hale. And also I'm looking forward that the most of my administration manager tasks this month will be completely over. So I'm looking forward to a lot of things this month.
So, succeeding in work life.
Yes.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you, I need it so much.
What about Anka? What are you looking forward the most for the rest of the September?
For the rest of the September, I already have exciting role as a grammarian, catch at least 2 mistakes. Today we have too many articles, like to the work or to the September. We don't use articles, so it's really fun to be back with Toastmaster. And I hope Lenka will succeed in her new job.
Thank you very much for taking this role. It is nice to have someone that keeps track of the proper use of grammar, because everybody in here can use some improvement in this area. Damian, what about you and the rest of December? The rest of the September, what are you looking forward the most?
Yeah, I changed countries because I was in England. So I'm looking forward enjoy time in Slovakia and finally talk in Slovakia. And new weather, new everything. So that's what I'm looking forward.
So you are going to embrace the change and finally feel at home.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. Glad to have you back. And well, about me, I'm looking forward the most. What I'm looking forward the most in the rest of the September is working on my business. I invested quite a lot of money and time into a studying plan that will help me to finally sell my Zoom course. And as I learned 20 minutes ago, I just probably acquired a new client with the 40 to 50 hours of work for the next 2 weeks. So I'm very excited for this one. And to continue with our meeting, Sonia, you can stop sharing the screen. Thank you very much. Could you please enable participation sharing?
Okay, just give me a moment.
I see Yanka is connecting. Welcome.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Hello,
How
Yanka.
are you?
We just had the opening question and you almost missed it, but you got at the very last second, so we can ask you as well.
Very good.
What is something that you are looking forward the most in the rest of the September that is remaining?
In my personal life?
Could be personal, could be business, work related, whatever you want.
Oh, it's a very good question. I think I will make a first step to start my business. I hope. So it's very ambitious.
We are keeping our fingers crossed for you. If you need any help, you have us to ask.
Thank you very much.
And now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce myself, because today's speech I'm going to deliver is going to be a little bit different than usually. Usually when we do speeches, we stand in front of the camera and we speak directly to the camera. But my project was to research and present. And I decided to do quite an extensive research and do a little bit more technically difficult presentation. And as I was thinking about how the Toastmasters learning is designed and what is it supposed to do, I realized that we don't need to do speeches only by talking to camera. We can use another tools and practice other things that are related to the online space. And I've done this today as a test, as something to try and maybe give you a little bit of motivation to try to look at the learning from a different angle, and not only what is written, but what is beyond, and how much can we get from this platform? How much can we learn? And not only like speaking regarding the speaking or some gestures or something, but other tools we can learn to use and utilize in our lives. So my speech today is going to be called The Epidemic of Entitlement. It is project number 3 from the first level of my second pathway, and it's going to be about coronavirus. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce myself. Please sit tight and enjoy. With the second wave of coronavirus epidemic incoming, and people complaining and protesting the countermeasures, not wearing the masks, or refusing to comply with the social distancing regulations, something is not working. Could you see and hear?
I can hear you without any kind of issues, but I don't see the screen, and you are right now the host.
Okay. I've tested this yesterday. It was working perfectly, and it's not working right now. But okay, I'm going to solve it like this. Give me another second.
It writes at the top that you are sharing just the computer sound.
Yes, I am, because I was sending the video through the webcam itself, and it was supposed to work, and it's not. But I'll fix it like this. Now it should. Share computer sound, optimize for video clip sharing. Now it should be all right. With the second wave of coronavirus epidemic incoming, and people complaining and protesting the countermeasures, not wearing the masks, or refusing to comply with the social distancing regulations, let's take a look in the past. I will take you back to the year 2005, when the world was hit with a pandemic so deadly that it became a case study for researchers on how population behaves during such events. Was it okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I will continue. I am of course talking about the corrupted blood incident that happened in the World of Warcraft. It was the 13th of September 2005, day when World of Warcraft received its patch number 1.7.0, the rise of the Blood God. It was a day when Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza was added to the game, a day when a very popular Arathi Basin battleground was added to the game. But nobody remembers these events. Nobody remembers them because of what happened deep in the heart of the Stranglethorn jungle. Nobody knows if it was an intention or an accident. Nobody knows who was the original patient zero. But what we do know is that, like many real-life diseases, it was a pet that spread the plague. It was supposed to be an ordinary adventure, a group of highly skilled players traveled across the jungle and entered the Forgotten Troll City. There were rumors of a powerful troll priest who in secret was using dark rituals to bring a blood god back from beyond. The adventurers thought their way through the hordes of enemies and overcame horrible traps to at last face this ancient evil. With their powerful weapons and strong magic, they attacked Hakar the Soulflyer. It was supposed to be an ordinary fight when the corrupted blood debuff hit the group. They became infected with a strong disease that had really potent negative effects on them. Every 2 seconds, the corruption would inflict 300 points of damage on everybody infected, and it was also spreading to everybody within the close proximity. With only 4,000 to 5,000 health at the time, if untreated, high-level players would die within a half a minute. A hunter, worried about his pet dying, dismissed it from the battle, not realizing that the corruption was untreated. The pet became the carrier, and after the fight, when they were back in the city, he called his companion once again, and at this time, there was nothing to be done anymore. Nothing could stop the inevitable at the moment. The plague was unleashed upon the world. World of Warcraft had over 6.5 million active players at the time. Player base was luckily divided into several realms. The first one to be affected was Archimond. Population of this realm was decimated within hours. Spread of the virus was worldwide, and both Horde and Alliance suffered, and streets of their capital cities were filled with corpses. Skeletons were everywhere, and outbreak was unable to stop. Players started fleeing the cities and abandoned everything trying to outrun the pandemic. Quarantine zones were set up. Healers would work shifts trying to cure the plague, but nothing seemed to help. And as the virus spread and players started discussing it on the forums, there were malicious individuals from another realms that went to the dungeon, infecting their pets, and with the debuff intentionally unleashing the havoc upon their realms. Worse, the non-player characters, such as bank tellers, shop owners, or guards, were unable to die due to their high health, but was still able to get the debuff, which made them asymptomatic carriers. Nothing was safe anymore. Organized efforts of players trying to flag themselves infected so they wouldn't infect anyone else was a good idea, until unaffected players started doing the same in hopes of others leaving them alone, and the whole system crumbled, rendering it utterly useless. It took Blizzard a month realizing that this epidemic was unable to treat within the game, and they had to do a hard reset and basically wipe the servers, simultaneously releasing a new patch that preventing the spread of the plague outside the dungeon and also preventing pets to become infected. What made this pandemic such a devastating event was a game mechanic we don't have in real life, a respawn system. If it were to happen in real life, there would be a high number of death cases, but the pandemic itself would die out because of the high mortality rate. There would simply be not enough live hosts for it to continue spreading. And this respawn system allowed malicious players to keep it going for longer, as they intentionally infected themselves and spread it back to the safe zones. But regardless of that, the outcome of this virtual pandemic had become a subject of a number of academic papers. Why, you ask? Because, thankfully, pandemics like this are quite rare. And because of that, we don't have a lot of data for them. And for the scientists and researchers, It was a very unique opportunity to get insight not only to the spread of a virus throughout the population, but also into a formation and function of the terrorist groups trying to use a biological weapon as a means of inflicting fear and death. Because as in the real life, some people just want to see the world burn. In 2008, epidemiologist Dr. Nina Pfefferman PhD noted that the corrupted blood incident very closely mirrored a real-world epidemic incident called the AIDS Patient Zero, where a single infected person tried to sleep with as many people as possible, pushing the spread exponentially forward. There was as well the second incident called the typhoid incident, where the Mary Malone, who was working as a cook, infected 47 other people with the fever despite continuing warnings and forced quarantine. And even though World of Warcraft's epidemic can't be used as a model of spreading the plague, it gave researchers a valuable insight into the behavioral psychology during a pandemic. What was, on the other hand, based on a real pandemic that showed us a mirror with the spread of a coronavirus was a movie released in 2011 called Contagion. Similarly, as in the corrupted blood incident, in the Contagion movie we follow a deadly disease ripping through the world and scientists trying to stop the spreading and death. But unlike the corrupted blood in the World of Warcraft, where the pandemic happened naturally with an accident, and we as the players were trying to survive and our actions were only later followed by the researchers, in here the opposite happened. The movie virus called the MEV1 is based on a real-life virus called the Nipah virus that spread across the India, Bangladesh and Malaysia over the last 20 years. A lot of inspiration for the spreading of the MEV1 virus came from the SARS epidemic in 2002 to 2004. So it's no surprise that the movie virus has its origin in China and spreads rapidly into London, Chicago and Minneapolis. After the autopsy of the patient zero in the US, the authorities were warned about the new deadly disease and the World Health Organization was called to investigate. Unlike the current SARS-CoV-2, which has a mortality rate around 3%, the Nipah virus, which was the movie MEV1 based on, had a mortality rate between 50 to 70%. But it was much less infectious, which, thankfully, didn't make it as deadly, as if both the infection rate and mortality rate were high. The MEV1 provoked symptoms very quickly, which made the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization start investigation within just 5 days. Unlike with the coronavirus, which had the first symptoms show up much later, so it took a lot longer for us to start working on it. For the movie virus, it's not super realistic to show symptoms so fast, but not totally impossible neither. The first case in China for the MEV1 was the apartment complex, very similar to the Amoy Garden complex in Beijing, where the real-life SARS epidemic outbreak occurred in March 2003. But these similarities are no coincidences. Behind the scenes of the movie were several consultants helping the filmmakers be as close to reality as possible. One of them was Dr. Larry Brilliant, who was one of the main researchers within a team that helped to successfully fight deadly smallpox. Another essential advisor was Dr. Ian Lipkin, nicknamed the Master Virus Hunter, professor of epidemiology who discovered and characterized over 500 infectious agents, including Borna disease virus, West Nile virus, Luja virus, and human rhinovirus. He also assisted with the SARS-CoV outbreak and worked with the MERS-CoV, HIV, AIDS, and many more. The character of the Dr. Erin Meyers, played by the Kate Winslet, is based on a real-life Italian microbiologist, Carlo Urbani, who was the first who identified the SARS in 2003 and reported it to the World Health Organization. Also, the neurosurgeon and medical reporter Sanjay Gupta, played himself in the movie, discussing the MEV1 virus with the movie CDC and a blogger spreading misinformation. In real life, Sanjay has a podcast talking about the coronavirus. And the 3D model of the MEV1 virus used in the movie was modeled by the Dr. Ian Lipkin himself. And he also personally invited actresses Kate Winslet and Jennifer Ely, who plays the researcher developing the vaccine, to his lab in Colombia so he could prepare them for the role the best as he could. So it's no surprise that the movie draws so many similarities with our current epidemic of coronavirus. People behaving the same, spread of fear and misinformation, shortages of goods, medication or food, people rioting on streets. And many call it prediction, but is it though? I find it funny that in 2005, players started practicing social distancing even before they were recommended by the game developers to do so. They volunteered to serve and help stop spreading the plague, and even the consequences were basically non-existent. They were in no physical danger. The only potential harm was virtual. And 6 years later, we were warned again by one of the most scientifically accurate movies about the danger of a new global pandemic. We were given a step-by-step guide how to avoid it. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, and keep your distance. Things we did with the virtual pandemic, but we can't follow when we have a real threat in front of us. Let's take a look now and compare all three cases of a pandemic: the corrupted blood, the MEV1, and the coronavirus. In all three cases, the main carrier of the disease was an animal. For the corrupted blood, it was the hunter's pet which brought it, thanks to a bugging game, to the populated area. In case of MEV1, it was an infected bat that ate a piece of fruit and dropped it on the floor, where a pig ate it. And then the virus was transmitted to a human cook, who was preparing the food in China. And then who infected Beth Emhoff. And being on an international business trip, she then infected many more, spreading the virus to the US and the UK. As for coronavirus, we only have a strong evidence that it originated in bats as well. But at this point, the big mystery is still unknown. How it got from bats to people. The origin location of the viruses for all three cases is very similar. For corrupted blood, it was in a jungle. For the MEV1, it was a jungle bat that spread it to a pig farm, which then spread it to a cook in a kitchen. But with the coronavirus, the origin is estimated to be linked to a wholesale food market in Wuhan, China, which is drawing similarities to the pig market in the Contagion movie, but is not yet 100% proven. The countermeasures in all three cases were identical. Social distancing was recommended as the most effective measure, and in both MEV1 and coronavirus cases, authorities recommended frequent hand washings with soap, wearing masks, and there were immediate efforts to produce a vaccine as soon as the RNA genome of the virus was sequenced. Corrupted blood was a specific case, where the eradication of a virus could be done in a month via a software patch, effectively curing and preventing all future infections without any player interaction. Unfortunately, we don't have this option in the real world. But the spread of misinformation is prevalent in the case of the MEV1 and also the coronavirus. The movie blogger Ellen Crumweed, played by the Jew Law, has its counterpart in Alex Jones for the real coronavirus epidemic, as both are spreading not only fake news, but also selling fake cures for the disease. There are also dozens of contradictory conspiracy theories about the 5G, how coronavirus is fake and doesn't exist, and at the same time how the numbers are inflated and not high enough because of the government and the pharmaceutical companies trying to get rich on a made-up pandemic. But for the corrupted blood, it went even further, as not only there were some people spreading lies or misinformation, but they were literally spreading the disease to the safe locations on purpose because they thought it was fun. As for the endgame, corrupted blood was completely cured by rewriting the code of the game. The patch 1.8.0 released on the 10th of October and prevented any more possibilities for pets to become infected by making them immune to the disease. There were additional measures that cleansed every player before leaving the dungeon, effectively making a sort of vaccine, and later the corrupted blood debuff was removed from the game completely. The MEV1 vaccine was developed at the end of the movie, with mandatory vaccination and also tagging vaccinated people as safe in order to restart the economy safely. They ended the movie on a premise of curing the pandemic, which is also something we are seeing with the coronavirus vaccination efforts. Legislators are talking about mandatory vaccinations and vaccine passes for the integration into unrestricted work and travel life again. But if people continue to be uncooperative, entitled, stupid, scared, and continue revolting against the government efforts to suppress this global pandemic, the chance of stopping this with the current numbers are just getting smaller and smaller. At the moment of the recording of this video, there are over 21 million infected cases worldwide, with over 762,000 dead, rising exponentially. The choice is ours. We either fight together or die together. With the second wave of coronavirus. Thank you, everybody. How did you enjoy?
It was interesting.
Good. Yeah, was it pre-recorded? That's my question. As a grammarian, especially. Now I need some confession.
It took me a while to produce it. It was.
But was the speech pre-recorded?
Oh yes. It took me like 5 hours to record this.
Okay, let's see. I will check objective of the project, but the video was very well done.
Thank you. My question is, do we have a second speaker? No. Okay. So now I will ask the evaluator, Lenka. Stage is yours. After that, we can have a panel discussion. So, Lenka, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everyone. It is really a rare opportunity to give a feedback on pre-recorded video, which was made as a speech. And Michael, this idea was really brave, very interesting, and I can happily say that you managed it perfectly. In my evaluation, I would like to speak about in two dimensions. The first one is from Toastmaster's point of view, and the second one is from user point of view. From Toastmaster's point of view, I like the structure of the speech. There was an opening, the body, and the conclusion. Conclusion in the meaning, we either fight together or die together. It was really strong. In the body, you perfectly summarized or explain on 3 examples: the game, the movie, and our current situation. We are dealing with this coronavirus. How people tend to behave in these pandemic situations. And in the opening, you started as like what is currently going on and how you are going to explain from the history that this is not a completely new issue. I also liked your vocabulary. It was really splendid. A lot of interesting words, and you use a lot of interesting words to put a drama or dramatize the story, which was really excellent. You also used music, which underlined the importance of what you were talking about, and I was so eagerly waiting at the end. Oh my gosh, it's so thrilling music, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. So this was really well done. Regarding the video, I think that it was really great with all these examples of researchers, and from Toastmasters' point of view, from the goal of the speech, it is successfully done. Your task was to research as many resources as you can, plus tell in the story or in the speech about these resources, which was really great because you mentioned a lot of researchers in the speech, which was really well done. From a user point of view, as I was watching the video, I would, from time to time, appreciate also to see your face, for example, and that would make a better connection that you are a live person, and that I can see also your facial expressions, your voice. My recommendation for this is only one, and that's the work with the voice, because sometimes it was I was losing the attention. You were speaking too fast and monotonous sometimes, I thought, and I would recommend to cut long sentences into shorter ones. Use the art of comparison, what is good, what is worse, for example, but use short sentences and use voice. Overall, the speech was perfect. I was really paying attention. I was not falling asleep, as sometimes I would. So all thumbs up, and congratulations on research and present project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, as we don't have the second speaker, I'm opening a panel evaluation or a panel discussion, and it is open to everybody present at the meeting. So you can just unmute yourself and start talking. You don't need to raise your hands.
I still raise my hand. I liked it. It was very well done, and I was wondering how long it took you to put it all together. But I think that Lenka took all of my observation, because, as she said, it was very interesting and very innovative. You had a very nice voice, and there were no filler words. You will hear the count later on, and you won't be that happy. But the video and the whole project was very nice and smooth. And I had sometimes trouble because the suggestion, I have two of them, was the fact that you were very smooth. It was like this. And I was thinking like, okay, you can read, the telephone book and I will fall asleep. That's perfectly okay if you're reading a telephone book, but it's not very good if you're presenting something. That's why you need to go up and down, up and down. And there were moments where you can just put the drama in. It's like, and this happened, and she fall apart, whatever. I won't say every word exactly, but there were moments, especially with that game, you can use that pauses, and as well with the when you were talking about those movies. So definitely more work with the voice, because, and that's the second thing, and Lenka mentioned it as well, we didn't see you at all. That's why the work with the voice is more important, because then we didn't see any body language or face expression. That's why the voice is more important, and that's why it needs to be stressed out that here are the pauses, here are the louder, quieter parts. So that's for me.
Thank you. Tereza?
First of all, I really would 1, 2, 3. I really would like to thank you, because it was like really interesting. I was really scared at the end because all of these Warcraft conspiracy and all these was just like my head was like this, and it was really good. I will just add my suggestions with because I totally agree with Sonia, and I think the thing because of being smooth and monotone was that it was like really obvious that you were reading, because I noticed it. And I know that while I'm recording, you are reading like naturally, but if you in the future when you will do something like this, I recommend you not to read all the things, just to present this speech on the recording, because thanks to that you will not be that monotone as you was, and it will be perfect.
That is a great observation. Thank you.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
It was a very good speech because it was emotional. I have one question. What was your goal of the speech?
Well, the goal of the speech itself was to research and present, but the background for this project, the video itself, was I was fed up with all the misinformation spreading throughout the Facebook, and so I just one night sit at the computer, write a 7 or 8 pages script, and started recording audio and putting the videos in.
Okay. I give you one recommendation. If either a conspirator or conspirator, I think, it wouldn't persuade me at all. I think I will be more mad at the end of your speech because it was kind of insulting. Maybe a recommendation is to try to persuade them with facts, to give them facts, don't insult, but give facts. If you think what I mean.
Yes, I do.
Because it's their side, and I think they are persuaded because of something, because bad information, wrong information. So just use more facts. Why it's conspiration. Okay.
Thank you. Anka?
Yeah, I just want to give first the praise for a very well prepared and well researched speech. You said it only took you 5 hours. It would take me 5 days to edit all of it. What kind of software did you use for editing?
Well, the 5 hours was only to record the audio.
Yeah.
The video itself was around like 15 to 20 hours.
Okay, and
And
what type of software?
Yeah. The audio recording was done in the PreSonus Studio 1. That's audio recording software. And the video was edited in the Blackmagic Design DaVinci Resolve. That's a professional video editing software. I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, so we have some really good tips and it was really well prepared. My concern as a lawyer is that I believe due to this perfect grammar and other things, I will check the Toastmaster guideline. I just do not believe it should be allowed, maybe it is, to pre-record the speech in advance unless it's a really objective of a specific project. I have to check because I have to research this. I just do not believe personally, maybe Toastmaster allows it, that it should be like pre-recorded and streamed. That's my personal opinion, because then for me it loses the magic, because it's a public speaking that you are put yourself on the spot. As I said, maybe there are projects in Toastmaster that requires or allowing this. Yeah, maybe it's totally fine. But in my personal feeling and opinion, which I will have to confirm, this should not be allowed in, because then everybody can record their speeches and then stream them online, and we can have a like online streaming meeting. That would be my only objection to the speech. Otherwise, especially grammar wise, all the connection except for one in China, because today first time we are putting articles where they don't belong. It was one of the most perfect speeches I heard, and video and audio were
We run
fantastic.
out of time, so
Thank you, Damian. Anka, I agree with you on this one. Actually, I do believe that speeches should be done live, not pre-recorded. But I've been in a meeting where we couldn't have a live speech and we had a pre-recorded keynote speaker. I believe it was in one of the competitions that the keynote speaker was pre-recording, and then the evaluators were doing evaluations on a record. And to put it in a perspective, why I've done it today like this, we as online Entrepreneur Toastmasters are a little bit different than other clubs, as we don't meet in person. We can't practice some of the things. Most of the members don't have the space and equipment to stand in front of the camera and walk around the room like we usually can with the live stages, but we can work with another group, with another tools. And as we are trying to focus on the entrepreneurs of the online space, I believe that this type of pre-recorded speech is something that most of the online entrepreneurs can practice in here as well as the live speaking. So it was my test to see how well would it be received by others. And if I would be given a no, you will repeat the project again, I'm okay with that. I just like to bring new things into the meeting.
Yeah, it's always good to try the new things, and let's see.
Okay, thank you very much for the first part of our meeting. And now we have the second part of the meeting with evaluations. We already had the speech evaluation, but there are many more roles. And as we have the one grand general evaluator, Tereza, who will be evaluating all that gave evaluation. It sounds weird, I know, but it's quite nice. I will now ask her to come to the stage and introduce the evaluators and what is their role in the meeting. So Tereza.
Thank you very much for welcoming, and Sonia, thank you for the applause. Today my role will be, as Michael said, evaluate our evaluators. Our other evaluators besides Lenka for today will be Sonia. Her role was to listen very carefully to what we were saying, especially to weird sounds like so and so on. So I invite Sonia on the stage to give us her report. Sonia, the stage is yours.
Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me okay. And I took few notes. You would be surprised who would be the winner for today. No, it's not Terry. It's one and only Mr. Moderator, or our host for today. Because yes, Mr. Havran talked a lot and he used several filler words. I will start with the most popular, which is the beginning of my name. You could guess that's those two fantastic words are in my name. You used it only 10 times. Then you used something called 3 times. 2 N's. and in general, you like to prolong some of the words to catch the thoughts who are there. So just be aware of it. Then I have Teri, and I found that only in the introduction, last one, if you use the so, otherwise you have the words like you know, which is technically not very correct, and it could be counted as a filler word. And you twice use because, very unnecessary, and then you use the word yeah instead of yes. I have Lenka, who started with well. So well is not very good, but it's one count. 4 times and as well the beginning of my name was used once. I have as well Damian, who used again the beginning of my name, those 2 lovely syllables, and I tried to not to say them. That was used twice. And then as same as Teri, you like the word yeah as well twice. The only one who is off the hook is Anka, because I haven't heard anything from her, which could be counted as a filler word. I'm hoping she will use some word till the end of the meeting. That's all from me, returning back word to Tereza.
Thank you very much for your detailed report. Thank you again, Sonia. And now I'd like to welcome our grammarian on the stage. Her name is Anka today, and she can tell us more about her role for today. Anka, this is yours.
Definitely. Thank you, Terka, for this opportunity. As you can see my body language. Those are my hands. And you cannot see everything because maybe I am not wearing pants, but I'm not going to tell you, of course. You can just keep guessing. And today with grammar, first time we had a really special occurrence, which means that usually in Slovakia or in European countries, we are skipping articles. And today, first time, as I mentioned before, we overuse them somehow. Sonia was talking how she is going back to the work. I think the phrase that is usually used is back to work because people are lazy and they don't want to put articles in front of it, or maybe there is a grammar rule for that. Yeah, that was the first thing. Then we had back to the school or some connection with the school. Back to school, it's also okay just to say without a specific article. But my favorite one, it was by Havran, in a China. There was something in a China as a country. In front of countries, we almost never, that was the third thing, use the article. So today I'm celebrating because first time in history I noticed we overuse the article, and we have millions of beautiful phrases, especially thanks to the Havran speech. We had phrases that I will rewatch and I will send it to you. And by Sonia, there was a very interesting phrase like bearing in mind that she only has 15 days to go back to work. There was a really nice phrase. And there were a lot of phrases also from Damian that he is looking forward to use Slovak. And that, I think, it's all from me for today. And as I said, the Havran speech was packed with beautiful phrases, and that's why I think it would be unfair to other speakers who did not have so much time to record it, but they were beautiful, and I will send them to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anka. And last but not least, there is Damian that will come on the stage, and he can tell us about his role. Please welcome Damian.
Thank you, Terka. All people have been given time, but only few of them know his value. And me as timer, I know value of time because I measure it. And I'm going to tell you how you use your time today. So start with Toastmaster of evening, which have 5 to 7 minutes and made it in 7 minutes and 27 seconds. First speaker had 17 to 20 minutes and made it in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. First evaluator had 2 to 3 minutes and made it in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Panel evaluation had from 2 to 3 minutes and was made in 4 minutes. Counter had from 2 to 3 minutes and made it in 2 minutes 18 seconds, and Grammarian had 1 minute from 1 minute to 2 minutes and made it in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. All of us except Sonia was in the red team, only Sonia was in green team. Congratulations. And that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Damian. And now, dear Toastmasters members, dear friends, we're almost at the end. But there are still some roles that haven't been evaluated, and that will be my role today. So I will guide you through all the meeting and I will share with you my observations. I will start directly with Havran, who was the Toastmasters of the day tonight. In his beginning, I really appreciated he explained clearly the agenda. He had clear voice. He was really well explaining us the agenda. And I really appreciated his interesting welcoming of Counter, which was hilarious, I think. I would recommend you started with okay. Come on, we don't start with okay. And you shared an incorrect info. There was no speed to. Come on. And the third thing, you didn't explain rules. I don't know how to clap. I don't know how to mute, unmute, whatever I do. So I know that there is just the 6 of us, but in the case that someone will watch our video, it would be nice. Then we had your speech, which has already been evaluated. And then we had Lenka, the evaluator of your speech. Lenka, as always, really nice structure. I really like that you chose 2 points of view for the Havran speech. You chose directly, clearly focusing on 2 main things. So it was like Toastmasters' point of view and your like a watcher point of view, or how to say it. I really like that you put some emotions in that. For example, oh my God, what's gonna happen? That was really great. Just a little thing I would like to recommend. You didn't describe the goals of the project in the beginning. You did it in the middle. But if I don't know the project, for example, I'm just passing my icebreaker or something, it will be a little bit confusing for me. So, but besides that, it was really perfect. For the panel discussion, I really liked our observations. Just one thing, Havran, please, when we are running out of time, don't talk with people that are evaluating you. You have chat and you have an after party. Besides that, it was really great. For Sonia, like Counter, I really liked that it was really detailed. You really played and you showed us our filler words. It was really great. And of course, you use the fingers to count, which is always great to show them. And our grammarian, hilarious as always. I really liked your humor in the beginning and through all your little speech. I really liked that you underlined nice phrases and you chose a specific thing to focus on. It was the articles today because, for example, for me as a grammarian, it's also hard to choose something, and I have impression that I'm overwhelming everyone with a huge amount of information, and you did it just well. Just a little recommendations for you. We didn't see your whole head your whole face, and nor your hands, which is a little shame because, yeah, gestures are also always a great idea. Damian, our timer for today, I was really impressed by your starting. Your beginning was really great. It was something like a quote or something, which was really touching me. And besides that, it was really detailed, fast, and I don't have any recommendation for you. At the end, last but not least, I would like to thank you all. I'm really glad I could be evaluating your little roles, and thanks to that, we are here in our great meeting. And I would like to thank Michael for being Toastmasters of the evening, Lenka for evaluating, all of us to giving a panel discussion, Sonia for accounting, Anka to giving us a grammar report, Damian to counting the time, and of course our visitors Vivian and Yanka. And just before going to sleep and going to after party, I would like end our meeting with a question. In the beginning, Michael was asking us what we are looking forward to in September, and we were all sharing with each other our goals, our dreams, and so on. And my question for this is really simple. What will you do yourself? What will be your effort to achieve these goals, these dreams, and to really enjoy your September as much as possible? And I will start with Sonia.
Well, I need to find Doctor Who and get the time machine. Or I just need to find the Harry Potter and that platform 9 3/4. And get that little thingy where it could be at the 3 places and the time reverse. Otherwise, I will just spend my time reading the books. I think that's a good replacement for those two.
That's really great. I think it's even better. Thank you very much, Sonia. Lenka, what about you?
Regarding my work, I will desperately work hard, trying to understand all systems we are working in the company. I will enjoy my time. I will relax, exercise, and go. I don't know how is it in English, but that kind of wall you are going up and up. How is it in English called?
Climbing wall?
Climbing, yes. I will climb the wall in our center, Scala. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm also waiting for Sonia to share that little thing so I can triple myself and have more time.
Thank you very much, Lenka. Damian.
I will go out, get some sunshine, because in England we're always raining, and I will talk with my friends, go on Toastmaster meeting, of course, eat Slovak food, eat Tereza, Mačko, and everything what is here, because that was missing me. And that's all.
Thank you very much. Hope you will enjoy your Slovak time. Havran.
Thank you for asking. It might sound counterintuitive, but I need to learn how to slow down. Because most of the time I try to put too much on myself. I try to put, to not put, like literally to squeeze as much into my schedule as possible. And then when a little thing goes wrong, I just go crazy because suddenly everything is moving to later and later date and I'm missing deadlines. So I need to learn how to slow down so I don't stress myself too much. Because if I stress too much myself, I just crumble and just sit and like I give up. So I need to learn to slow down to be faster.
That's really important. Thank you very much, Havran. Anka.
Yeah, today I was really inspired by Havran to do some pre-recorded videos because I usually do some live session. They are recorded afterwards, but I will try to do it for my students, and then I will tell you how long does it take to prepare. It would be definitely more than 20 hours on my part. I was really inspired by his speech about virtual and real pandemics. So that's
Thank,
what I will do with my free time.
thank you very much, Anka. Okay, my turn. I think I will just enjoy my time in the school and go to lessons and learn at home. It's all I need now. And I will I will go to school. I will get up early at 5 a.m. and I will enjoy my time. And that's the key for all of you who are watching this video on YouTube. So I really hope that you liked our today Toastmasters meeting. If you have some comments, use the comment section down below, and see you next time, next Thursday. And a big applause for all of us. Okay, and now let the after party begin.